Hello, my name is Hasibullah. I'm a tax accountant with MHU Financial Services, where we have been serving clients for over 15 years. Today, we will be discussing how to fill out the TD1 and the TD1AB form. It's a form that tells your employer how much taxes to deduct. A TD1AB would be Alberta specific, so if you're in the province of Alberta, you will be filling out TD1AB in addition to the TD1 form. But we'll be mainly discussing the TD1 form today, which is the federal version of the form. So you give this form to your employer, not to CRA. This form is filed with your employer, and this tells your employer how much taxes to deduct. You do have to fill this out every year, or especially when you start a new job. This is a adaptable form, which means that you can also make changes to this form in the middle of the year or towards the end of the year, however you like. Life events happens, and you may want to update your form so that your taxes gets deducted correctly. We file a lot of income tax, and we see a lot of people owing at the end of the year. And it's not the income that is the problem. Earning more or earning income is not the issue of owing taxes. It's when the taxes does not get deducted correctly at source is where the main problem is, and that's the main problem. You end up paying taxes at the end of the year. So if you fill out this form properly, you will be avoiding surprises at the end of the year. Okay, so let us now discuss about this form. I'm gonna go over a couple of scenarios. So the first scenario will be you have one employer. The second scenario we're gonna cover would be you have quit your job and you have started a second employer. And then the third scenario would be you are starting a part-time job in the middle of the year or even towards the beginning of the year, and how the form to be filled out for when you're starting the second job. There are a lot of other lines that we are going to cover towards the end. First, I just want to cover the first three scenario, and then we're going to cover line by line item. So to go with the form, the form has some basic information at the top, so you'll put your name, your SIN number, your address in the top part. The first question is a basic personal amount. So in Canada, we do pay two taxes. One is the federal, and the other one could be the provincial or the territorial taxes that you pay. So here you don't pay tax on the first 16,129. That's the basic personal amount. So if you have only one job, you are entering 16,129. What that means is please don't deduct taxes on the first 16,129 because I'm not going to be paying taxes on this amount anyways. So if it's your only one job, it's your first job in the year, you are inputting 16,129 on the first page of the TD1. You're going at the bottom, you're signing it, you're filling out the TD1AB, which is already pre-filled. It has $22,323 on the top. And then you are going to sign this form and give it to your employer. This is if you have only one job. If you have, so now our second scenario, you have worked, you have filled out this form for one of your employer, you have worked until June, and now you're switching to a different job. If you are switching to a different job, you cannot reuse this amount. You cannot use 16,129 again in your second job, and the reason being is because you have already used this up in your first employer. You already told your employer that please don't deduct tax on the 16,129. What they did was they have spread out the 16,129 over the years, over the month, and they haven't deducted taxes on it. So if you have the same amount filled up with your second employer, then you're going to be ending up paying taxes at the end of the year, because both employers are claiming that amount. You are paying or not paying taxes on the 16,129 twice, but you are only able to take that basic personal amount claim only once. So when you are moving to a second job, make sure you don't claim any amount here. You're going to put 16,129 on box number 1. At the bottom in 13, which is the total claim amount, you will also put 16,129. Sorry, you will also put 0, because now this is your second job. So or you have quit your job and you're moving to another job. So this is our scenario number 2. You'll put 0 here. Very important, on the second page there is a section called more than one employer or pair at the same time. You are going to be checking this box. Yes, it's not a pair at the same time, but still you're going to be checking this box. So what you're saying is, I've already used up my basic personal amount with my other employer. Please make sure you deduct taxes. If you don't check this box on the second page, your employer may not deduct taxes correctly, and then at the end of the year you will end up paying taxes. I had clients who had paid about $6,000-7,000 in a year because this form was not filled out properly. They had multiple jobs, and with the multiple employer, the form wasn't filled out properly, and they ended up paying taxes. So the second scenario, which we are saying that this is your second job, you are putting 0 on the basic personal amount, and you are checking the more than one employer box on the second page. Same thing if you're in the province of Alberta, you will be filling out the TD1AB. This number here on the top is pre-filled, so you are going to be crossing off this amount and put 0. And make sure in box number 11 on this form, you're going to put 0. And you are also going to be checking this box which says more than one employer or pair at the same time. You are going to be checking this box as well, so that your employer knows how much taxes to deduct and they deduct the taxes correctly. Our third scenario would be you are starting a part-time job. So you're already working with one employer. You are now starting a part-time job. So with your first employer, you have already filled out this form with an amount here. You are starting a second job. Second job, we are not going to be claiming this amount again, because it's the same principle where we don't want this amount to be claimed more than once in a year. More than once is where the trouble begins, and you end up paying taxes. So this is my second job, second part-time job, or my part-time job in the year, and I'm not going to be claiming this amount, which means I'm going to be putting 0 in here. Again, this is the federal version, federal form, and in the Alberta, we are going to be putting 0 here as well. Or it doesn't matter, you can just cross this off because this is pre-filled. You can cross this off and put 0. In some software, you are not able to put a 0 here, or in some HR online portal, you are not able to put 0, but you can always put 0 here, and make sure that you check this box on the second page. More than one employer or pair at the same time has to be checked in both the provincial, which is in our case for Alberta, it's TD1AB, and the TD1, which is the federal version. You are going to be putting X in here, saying that please do deduct taxes. This is my second job, or I have used up this amount in my other job. So these are the three scenarios. If this form is filled out correctly, then at the end of the year you shouldn't be paying any taxes. Now I'm just gonna go over the rest of the boxes. So for most of our client, we just want them to fill out line number 1. We don't want you to be worrying about the other lines, because basically the other lines helps you to have your employer deduct less taxes, but then if this is not done correctly, then you will end up paying taxes at the end of the year. That's why we discourage to not fill out the rest of the form. Just fill out, focus on number one question. But because a lot of you have questioned about the other items on the form, I will go over those quickly with you. So as I said, the first one is the basic personal amount, which is 16,129 for most of the individuals. So we're going to have 16,129 claimed if this is the only job you have. Line number 2 is for Canada caregiver amount for infirm dependent under the age of 18. So if it's if you have a child and the child has a disability, then you would be able to claim a caregiver amount of 2,687, and that you will be inputting here. If you are over the age of 65 and you are going to have an income less than 45,522, then you are able to claim or get an additional credit in your income tax for the age amount. So for the age amount, you can claim 9,028 in this box. Number 4 would be pension income. If you are a pension recipient, so you are getting, let's say, a private pension from your employer, then you are able to claim a $2,000 credit for your pension income amount. So you'll be inputting $2,000 here. If you are a full-time or part-time student, part of your tuition fees can be claimed as a credit in your income tax in the federal portion. In Alberta, there is no credit for the tuition fees. So here you will be inputting what the tuition fee amount would be for the year. If you have a disability, if you have been approved by CRA for a disability credit, then you would be able to claim the disability amount in box number 6 or in line number 6. If you are married or common law and you have a spouse and the spouse is not working, could be a stay-home mom or dad, then you would be able to claim the spousal amount here, which is the same as your basic amount. So 16,129 was something that you were claiming for yourself, and here you can claim the same amount for your spouse. So what basically the $16,121 means is if you are single, you don't pay taxes on the $16,000 individually. If you are a couple, then you don't pay $32,000 as a family income. You don't pay taxes on the $32,000. So this is for the spouse or common law partner. You will be inputting the amount here. Number 8 is for amount for an eligible dependent. If you are single and you are supporting a blood relative, or you are single and you are supporting your child, or single mom, single dad, they would be able to claim an eligible dependent amount, which is an equivalent to spousal amount here. The Canada caregiver amount for an eligible dependent or spouse. So if your spouse has a disability, if you are taking care of a child as a single mom or single dad and the child has a disability, then you would be able to claim an additional credit here in box number 9. You have to fill out a form called TD1WS. It's the worksheet that you would have to fill out to figure out what this amount would look like. If you have questions on those, you just reach out to the comment and I would be able to, I'll be happy to answer those questions. Canada caregiver amount for a dependent aged 18 or older. So if you are taking care of a relative who is over the age of 18 and they have a disability, you will be able to claim a caregiver amount in this line number 10. Amount transferred from a spouse. So this could be a lot of various amount. Could be for pension, could be for tuition fees, disability. If your spouse is not using those credits for themselves, they would be able to transfer those over to you, and we would be able to claim those amounts here. Amount transferred from a dependent, same thing. If you have a child or a grandchild and they are a full-time student, for example, and they would like to transfer some of their tuition fees to you, that can be done on this line here. So what this form is all about, tax deduction. If you are missing out anything in any of this credit, at the end of the year when we file your income tax, it's all going to be taken care of. This form is just saying to your employer, deduct my taxes based on the scenario that I'm giving you. If this scenario and what happens at the end of the year when you file your income tax is exact, then you are not supposed to be getting a refund, or you're not supposed to be owing anything either. But we do see at the end of the year when you are preparing, or when we are preparing your income tax, you do end up getting a refund, or you end up paying because either this form has not been filled out properly, or you have a lot of credit that you have not claimed in this form, but then we are claiming it in your income tax. So very important form to make sure that taxes does get deducted correctly. So as I mentioned, the three scenarios. First scenario, where you have only one employer, make sure you claim an amount here. If you have a second employer, if you are moving to a second job in the year, you quit your first job, you are starting a second job, third job, fourth job, make sure you don't claim any amount here. It should be zero. Put 0 on this box and check this box, more than one employer at the end of the year, sign, give it to your employer, done. If you still see you end up paying taxes and your employer is not deducting the right amount of tax, you can also ask your employer to deduct additional taxes. So if you look at the second page, the additional tax to be deducted, you are able to ask maybe $100 every paycheck or $50 every paycheck. You can ask your employer to deduct additional taxes in this box. This box here is for living for prescribed zone, so that's for people living in northern Canada. They would be able to deduct additional taxes. We're not gonna go over this because it doesn't apply to most of the clients that we're serving. Okay, if you have any question on this form, if you think if you have question on how to fill out this form in terms of other line numbers that you need help with, please reach out to us in the comment section, and we would be more than happy to answer any question that you may have. There are additional videos available on our website. It's www.mhufinancial.com. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.